everybody. Everybody, easy for me to say. Shall we get this thing started? No, that was
Ladies and gentlemen,
no. How about we do this right? Quiet that down. Hello, good morning. Music turned down, and we're set. Hi, how you doing? Happy Hump Day on the Morning Night Live. I hope everything's working. I didn't even check. This is weird. This music has some weird pauses in. I have never listened to this one before. I hope you're having a great morning. We're still kind of getting caught up on a lot of stuff from my weekend. So, the big news, obviously, today, at least from a political standpoint, is this so-called debt ceiling deal between McCarthy and the vice president. The former vice president. That not everyone seems to be on board. It might be a little bit of a nail biter as far as the vote. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a bunch of other stuff, and we'll do that after the intro, since I'm trying to set up my show while I'm talking to you. So here we go, Johnny. Now you can play the intro. Stop that music and play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, I'm that guy, and I am going to join you. Stop the music. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we fuss and fret over if they're going to get enough votes. Okay, now this is the the nuts and bolts of what our government's supposed to be doing, or maybe what our government's not supposed to be doing, because they do a lot of stuff that they're not really supposed to be doing and from a federal sense. But today we get to see if we continue to dig ourselves into a deeper hole that it's almost immeasurable at this point. Because if you stacked every one of those deficit dollars end on end, boy, oh boy, you might make it to Pluto by now. I don't even know how. I'm not even sure how that works. I can't even count that high. Anyway, I got a nice warm cup of Joe, and we'll get started. Let me see who's here first. First over on Rumble. First in chat is our friend Avocats Diabli, the ever faithful one. Good morning, sir. Also morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation, and I'm sure there's a couple more waiting in the wings on YouTube. First in chat, well, of course, it's also Avocatus Diabli gets the bell. Also, let's see. Oh, Rotten Corpse, hello. Unacceptable Views, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Don Julio, Gulf City Biker, and Trashman. Let's see. TC's in the house. Lord Stanhope's in the house. I got, let's see. Aaron Meredith, good morning. And, is that it? Oh, Tyrannus. Alexandrius. The Invictus. Lich is here. Also, good morning, Those Ain't Real Dude, and Attack Alpaca, and Gulf City DCC, a.k.a. Blink 182. Good morning, Fake News Expert. Good morning, Hate Camel, one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live. He's number 2. Good morning, Tyler F. What's up? And as slowly and surely people will be roaming their way into the annals of our show. Also, HP Lovecraft's in the house. Good morning, sir. Thank you to the wonderful ones who've already been tweeting this out. Let's see. I got Tyler F. retweeted the show. TC put it out. Jimmy Dots Hotep put it out. Why did that come up so weird on there? The thumbnail came up weird on the Rumble one. But anyway, like I said, I hope you're having a great morning. Mine is adequate. So yesterday, I went to the doctor, the surgeon, whatever, the what is it? Orthopedic. My orthopedic guy, Dr. Tyner, who's a fantastic orthopedic surgeon, has a great reputation here in the Twin Cities. And I have scheduled a surgery that will replace the function of my left hip. That'll happen on August 28th, 2 days after we get back from Hawaii, which is a trip we planned years ago and paid for years ago. And where we've decided that we're going to continue to do it since it's already paid for. And it's planned on a particular week because we're using a friend of ours timeshare that's used that week, so we can't really change it. So and here's the problem. So I have one of these because of my excessive height, my gift of verticality, and the dominance of my gravitational pull, I cannot do an anterior hip replacement, but they don't have to do posterior either. They don't have to go through my butt muscle. There's thank God, because that's the worst I hear. But I can't do the anterior where they come through right at the least muscle in the front. They have to do it for the side to make sure that I have the longest possible function from the new hip. So I'm going to be out of work for probably 6 to 8 weeks because of that, which sucks. So that's bad news, not being able to, well, at least not be able to work at UPS. But although I'll be able to take light duty stuff probably 4 weeks in. But I won't be able to work my day gig at all for probably 8 weeks. And so there's good news and bad news about that. One, I don't have any money. But the good news is I'll be able to stream more. So maybe we'll have some time to work on the channel a little bit, grow it a little bit, and do whatever. So I'm going to have these little goals down here for weekly goals, because gonna have to do something. I almost wanted to scrap the trip to Hawaii, but that's for our 30th wedding anniversary and my wife's 60th birthday, and we're not gonna do it. We're going. Poverty be damned. So we'll do our best. So anyway, that's why you're going to see this little blipper down here for the next, well, however long I do this, the show for a while, because we got to make up for some very much lost income. Anyway, enough of that. First, speaking of donations. Thank you, Judy House Hotel, for sponsoring the show. First sponsor of the day, which also makes you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Jimmy Dobbs Hotep dropping a big bullet in the tip jar, who says, fixing the hip, PT time, and then it's time for Fit Marty. Get swole. That's exactly right. As soon as this hip is working. Now I do have a bad knee too, but I think part of the reason I have a bad knee is because we're compensating for the bad hip. But boy, I tell you what, I am looking forward to be able to work out, to be able to cycle again. We already do some hiking and it just hurts. It takes a while every time we do it, like this weekend. Oh, by the way, we calculated how many miles we drove this weekend, because I hadn't paid attention. I set the trip odometer, about halfway, well, not even halfway, about a third of the way to on the last day, but then we calculated out the rest of the miles. We drove 1,168 miles in 3 days, actually in 2 days, because we parked the truck at the hotel once we got to Mackinac City and never moved it. But 1,168 miles in basically 2 days, and we saw so much stuff. I will be posting a lot of that. I'm going to make a new countdown video that's going to show a lot of this trip. There'll be this trip. The last one was the one I currently have is from our trip to San Diego in February. But this one I'll have a whole lot of cool stuff on, a lot of stuff, and it's very varied because we stopped in several different places. We stopped in Green Bay. We were in Mackinac City. We were at Mackinac Island. We went to a place called the Mystery Spot, which was the Mystery Spot. I thought it was going to be something, weirdly anomalistic, and it was not. It was a gimmick, but it was a fun gimmick, and you figure it out pretty quickly what they actually do. But it was a cool spot. But then also is footage of traveling the south shore, basically, of Lake Superior, which is amazingly far. It was funny because we stopped in a place called Munising, Michigan. Painted, what is it? Someone said what it was called, Painted Rock National Shoreline. And it was a 3-hour drive just to get about, well, no, let's see, 2 hours. It was a 5-hour drive driving along Lake Superior. It's you don't think about how vast the Great Lakes are. And that isn't even the full southern side of Lake Superior. It was 5 hours of driving just along that southern shore through different towns along the way. So it's pretty wild how big the lakes are. In fact, I learned some things. Lake Superior, you could take all the water from the other 4 Great Lakes and it still wouldn't completely fill Lake Superior. That's how big, how deep, how vast Lake Superior is. It's giant. So it's an interesting fact, but there you go. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsoring the show. You're awesome. Thank you. All right, let's see. Oh, and thank you, Tyrannus Alexandrius, Tyra Alexander, for oh, you changed it to midnight. You keep changing your little handle there. Thank you, Tyra Alexander, for retweeting the show. Jimmy Das Hotep, Tyler F, TC, all of you who do that, I greatly appreciate. Quipper's in the house. What up, Jack? How you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. Good thing. And also my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies here. Tyler F's here. Johnny Hellcat, the #1 first viewer of the Morning Night Live. So we got the gang back in. We got the band back together for one good time. Next Gen Troll over on Rumble. Good morning. Nice to see you all. All right. Let's get into what's happening in our little world here, because that's what we do every morning. We just kind of figure out what's happening in the news, and the big news. Okay, pun intended. The big news is apparently Chris Christie's gonna run for president. Hey, yay! Chris Christie apparently is going to announce next week that he's going to run for president. He's going to announce a presidential bid. I know, right? You've all been waiting for this. Those ain't real. Did I say hi? I think I did. Hi, what's up? Those ain't real. Or excuse me. That's what I think I got caught up in. Those ain't real, dude. Chris Christie is running. Yeah, run or roll. That's a good question. Right, explain what Dean has done. I'm not sure, Dean. I'm not sure. Dean, we'll figure it out. Chris Christie's running for president. Yippee. I'm so excited. I mean, nope. There you go. Here, let's see what the Daily Caller says about this. This is I don't know if this, first of all, the idea that he's going to run anywhere is problematic, but former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie will enter the growing Republican primary field for president next week. The Daily Caller News Foundation confirmed on Wednesday. Christie is expected to announce his candidacy on Tuesday in New Hampshire at a town hall in St. Anselm College. Confirmed. Allies of Christie, who ran for president in 2016, formed a super political action committee to support the former governor ahead of his imminent 2024 presidential announcement, which Axios first reported. Now, anybody interested in Chris Christie running for president? I don't get it. This is, and I don't necessarily hate Chris Christie. He's all right, I guess. He was a decent governor of Jersey. People in New Jersey tried to basically screw him over with that whole, with the bridge deal or something. They're trying to say he did some political shit with the bridge and whatever. Some people gave him hell when the hurricane came through and he was hanging out with Obama, but that's what the governor's supposed to do. And I don't think Chris Christie's a bad guy. I think he's, I think Chris Christie is probably a mega establishment shill, and I just have no interest in Chris Christie. So that's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. Iowa's also trending, and that's because apparently Ron DeSantis made an appearance in Iowa this week. Let's see. Ian Miles Chong, I just wanted to clip just a couple of minutes out of Ron DeSantis' speech in Iowa, but it just got too good. This is what leadership. Okay, Ron DeSantis gave a big old speech in Iowa, and a lot of people went there. Let's see. Should we watch some of this? If it gets boring, just say, do one of those, okay? But let's watch some of this speech by DeSantis. He said he's going to clip it, but it got too good, and he said this is what leadership looks like. Now that's interesting. Let's see what Ian Miles Chong is talking about. Even though Ian Miles Chong, I don't think is a U.S. citizen. I can't remember where he's from, but he's some the Philippines or someplace. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Here's not Krispy Kreme Christie, whatever. This is Ron DeSantis.
There should be no social
or
really economic transformation without representation. We must reassert truth as the foundation of our society. Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue in our society.
All right, whoa. Now, let me just remind you, you're never going to get your socks blown off by a speech by Ron DeSantis. I mean, he's a little bit boring talking, but his points are well made. But that little part right there, that was supposed to be an applause line. I think he stepped on his own applause line. Did you catch it? What is the common sense line? That was like a slogan kind of thing. Listen again.
Assert truth as the foundation
Next one,
of
right
our
here.
society.
Listen to this.
Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue in our.
Okay, that was very slogany. He's trying to. Anyway.
Our society, and I'll tell you, in Florida, we proved that all of this can be done. We chose facts over fear. We chose education over indoctrination. We chose law and order over rioting and disorder.
Now, real quick, something that is appealing to people who may not normally be interested in Ron DeSantis, and that includes some Democrats, because the people who vote the most are the people who see what's happening with the culture, so to speak, the Gen Z hot issues, right? And they're looking at it going, oh my God, what are these people doing? That's why I think in Florida, him sticking to those issues made him very successful in Florida. Now, will that be repeatable across the country? I don't know. There's a lot of parents out there who normally would never think of voting for a Republican, right? But they've seen what's been going on in the schools and whatnot, and the indoctrination that's going on in every aspect of popular culture. And maybe he does have a shot. But he's got to beat the Trump train first. And that's going to be his biggest issue. All right.
We in the state of Florida held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We refused to allow our state to descend into some type of Faucian dystopia where people's livelihoods were
That's
destroyed
popular in Iowa.
and their freedoms were curtailed. No. We protected people's rights, and like Governor Kim Reynolds, we ensured our kids had the right to be in school in person.
Okay, now, again, this is the, he's clearly going for the parent vote. He's going for that suburban mom vote that abandoned Donald Trump. And that's one area that could be a big pickup if he were the candidate, because of those parent issues. The suburban moms he lost, that Trump lost, Ron DeSantis is squeaky clean when it comes to his family. So I'm just saying he is more of a possibility than except he did shut things down at first. Well, yeah, so did everybody except for who? Kristi Noem. Was it Kristi Noem's the only one who didn't go along with that shutdown nonsense? Okay. And she was right. Turned out to be right. It's a gamble. It's a gamble to go against the grain. And look, DeSantis opened up way faster than everybody else. But anyway. And again, here's the other thing too. How do you supposedly because you're fighting the science, right? The science. And then they're like, wait a minute. We have scientists here too, and they're not saying the same thing as your scientists are. We're going to say, fuck it. We're going to get back to normal.
In Florida, we chose freedom over Fauciism, and we are better for doing that.
Hey, resist Fauciism.
Now,
but again, here he goes. All these one-liner clips that I was talking about. Yeah, but he needs to tread careful with it because it'd be very easy to paint him as a liar and a hypocrite for claiming he did not shut things down. Yeah, well, because who's beating him over the head with that right now? Donald Trump. But you could also beat Donald Trump over the head with the fact that his little crew that he followed, there's video of him saying, I did whatever they told me. This is a tightrope that they're both going to be walking on right at each other. And they're going to have pugil sticks. Is that what it is? Pugil sticks like they use in the Marine Corps training. They're going to be on a tightrope punching the hell out of each other with pugil sticks. And both of them had to balance a lot of stuff. So interesting.
We can look back at that and say, well, of course, wouldn't you want to do that? But at the time, we faced relentless opposition. We faced opposition from media, from the left, from bureaucrats, even from some of our fellow Republicans. People told me,
in the White House?
Governor, what you're doing, you're cutting against the grain, you're getting hammered, you're not going to be long for this world politically if you keep doing what you're doing. But leadership is about doing what's right, even in the face of intense criticism, even when people are coming at you. You got to be willing to stand all by yourself if that's what it calls for. And I told myself, my job as a leader is to put the interests and the jobs of the people I represent ahead of protecting my own political hide. And I didn't know what was going to happen politically, but I was willing to let the chips fall where it may. Because as long as I can look in that mirror and know that I did the right thing for the right reasons, I figured it would all work out in the end. And sure enough, we had some tough going politically for a while. We were getting hammered, and lo and behold, when you do the right thing, regardless of polls or regardless of wherever the wind's blowing, people appreciate you. They know when you stood up for them. When it's not easy and you do it, that's when they go to war for you.
Okay. I'm going to stop there and I'll have this linked in the chat, or excuse me, not in the links today, but you can watch the rest. But I think maybe he sees that. Pugil sticks. It's spelled P-U-G-I-L. And I don't know what punji sticks are, Lord Stanhope, but anyway. Good morning. Why are you so angry? How you doing? So anyway, interesting. You can watch the rest yourself. We're not going to watch this whole thing because I'm going to get back into other stuff. So. Are you leaving when he gets the primary watch? He's going to turn into Gavin Newsom watch? I don't think so. I mean, Gavin Newsom is full on into the woke stuff, man. Good morning, GDSOB, right? Good morning. The only thing I don't like about DeSantis is he's too beholden to the dirty little hat club. Yeah, okay, I think I know what you mean. I'm not 100% sure. Good morning, Cannibalistic Wizard over on Rumble, too. Hail Hydra. Oh, goodness. I don't know about all that. All right, moving on. Uganda is trending in the news, and that's because the president of Uganda has signed that bill that... signed that law that President Biden is threatening to have sanctions over Uganda on, and other countries around the world are aghast because President Yoweri Museveni has signed one of the world's harshest anti-gay bills into law. U.S. President Joe Biden has called for the law to be revoked. The European Union Parliament has condemned the law. So here is what this is. I'm being a live and let live person. I get it. But look, I don't live in Uganda. I don't vote in Uganda. And I'm not going to tell what people from Uganda what to do. But that seems a little harsh. I mean, but people live their own lives as far as I'm concerned. But here's the new law does. Signed into law by President Museveni on May 29th, 2023. This was over the weekend. Person convicted of aggravated homosexuality, penalties death. Oh my God. What the fuck is aggravated homosexuality? Is that like prison rape? I don't know. What is that? Person who commits the offense of homosexuality, 20 years in prison. Person convicted of promotion of homosexuality, 20 years in prison. Person recruiting children into homosexuality, 20 years in prison. Person who's committed the attempted aggravated homosexuality. I don't know what is attempted aggravated homosexuality. What the hell is that? 14 years in prison. Person who has been convicted of attempted homosexuality. What is attempted? It's like someone got with some dude and it wouldn't fit. I don't know what that means. The owner of the premises that promote sexuality. So if you have a rainbow flag in your restaurant, 10 years. Child found guilty of homosexuality, 3 years. Media houses that publish materials that promote homosexuality, fine $1 billion, whatever the monetary unit of Uganda is, and license revoked for 10 years. So that's pretty there. Holy shit. I don't know about that. But look, it's not my country. I don't vote there. The people overwhelmingly support it there. Michael Knoll says, I take it Chick-fil-A will not be opening any new restaurants in Uganda. Oh, I don't know what that means. But here's somebody being raised as a Christian. I'm horrified by the Ugandan government's brutal attack against LGBT plus people. They have literally made it legal to murder people just for being gay. Yeah, that's a little harsh. Aggravated sometimes can refer to someone who does something even after being ordered by a court or the law once not to do it. Okay, not so sure. Anyway, Joe Biden warns Uganda who will face sanctions and other penalties if severe anti-gay law, which imposes grave penalties for promoting homosexuality, including the possibility of the death penalty if it's not immediately repealed. Well, interesting. There's a lot of other countries around the world doing that. Now, Dr. Stella Emanuel, she was one of those COVID docs. She says, when they say they just wanted to marry and be left alone, we fell for it. Now look at where we're at today. Uganda, stand for your convictions and pray it through. God is with Uganda. Yeah, I don't know. Here it is. Uganda president reacts to media questions about homosexuals, like Matt Walsh reacts to hearing someone's called Dylan Mulvaney she. Okay, that's just a little video. So anyway, there is, let's see, Justin, we don't want your pro-gay money. We want and love our country more than money. Over 100 students from at least 13 universities across Uganda sang as they approached Parliament in a peaceful march to thank the House and President Museveni for signing the bill. So some people are there celebrating this. So that is that's a very that's a very different prospect than you would have here if something like that well, you've already seen it in some states, just not allowing them to do crazy shit to kids, and they're protesting against the government there. So interesting. Now, press secretary, let's see, Press Secretary Latrine Jean-Pierre apparently was asked about this or mentioned something this. Let's see what she has to say about it. Let's change this over. Here we go. Here's Latrine Jean-Pierre. What does she have to say?
The enactment of Uganda's
Yes, it's only one
Homosexuality Act is a tragic violation of human rights, of universal human rights, one that is that one is not worthy, to be clear, of the Ugandan people, and one that jeopardizes the prospects of critical economic growth for the entire country.
All right, so
The enactment of
okay,
Uganda's
that's enough. Good enough. So that's interesting. I think I find it a little bit crazy personally, just because I'm from here and I don't give a shit what people do in their own lives. As long as it doesn't affect my life. And, I have enough gay friends that they go, ooh, well, I guess you might want to change your summer vacation plans if you were going to go to Uganda. That's all I'm saying. And be safe out there. So anyway, thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for sponsoring the show. Dropped a dropped a 357. We got a Magnum in the tip jar. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. It says it happens when you trip, fall, and it slips right. Oh, this is what accidental. What is it called? He said a person convicted of the attempted aggravated homosexuality. So Johnny Hellcat says, it happens when you trip, fall, and it slips right in. Guess they need to be careful now. Yeah, I would absolutely say so. Definitely need to be careful. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for sponsoring the show. You're a great American. All right, let's move on. What else is trending right now? The Modelo, the beer company, Modelo is trending, and apparently Modelo might be another beer that might get on the ultra woke chopping block, I guess. Modelo, the better tasting beer anyway. Foo 100. Modelo. Okay, here it is. Oh, this is why it's trending. Here it is. Just in, Modelo is on pace to surpass Bud Light as the world's #1 beer brand after Bud Light saw a 25.7% decrease in sales last week. While Bud Light is down, Modelo saw an increase in sales by 9.2% for the week ending in May 20th. According to, let's see, here's the whole tweet here. In fact, I'll make this so that it's a separate tweet if you want to see it later. According to Bump Williams Consulting and Nielsen IQ data, Modelo is on pace to pass Bud Light as the #1 beer brand. While Bud Light loses week after week, Modelo Especial gains week after week. And now Modelo outsells Bud Light on a national basis across all trade channels combined, Bump Williams said in the New York Post. If this continues, Modelo will surpass Bud Light for the entire year. This is absolutely insane. No, I don't think Modelo is owned by Anheuser-Busch, or is it? I do not know. Here, let me make sure I have that as a separate one today. I don't think Modelo is not owned by that same company. I don't believe. Modelo is under the Anheuser-Busch Rainbow umbrella, though. Is it? Hello, Shrapnel. What's up? Good morning. Well, let's look. We're going to scroll down because the people are talking about Modelo today. Modelo Negra is by far way better than either of those beers. Well, Modelo is, it's funny. It's interesting. So it used to be Negro Modelo because I used to drink Negro Modelo back in the day. I love Modelo. It's one of my favorite beers. I've been drinking it for about 20 years. And I don't drink Bud Light. And Negro Modelo is really, really good. But it's interesting. I didn't realize they made a name change. Now it's Negra Modelo as opposed to Negro, which made it which is interesting. Isn't in Latin languages feminine and O is masculine? So now it's feminine Negra Modelo? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't like having the word Negro on their box or bottle or whatever, because I know where there have been, I remember about 6 years ago, or right around 2016 when I started doing this, someone was making a big deal about Negro Modelo because it had the word Negro in it. And it's like, hey, dumbass, Negro in Spanish just means black, right? And it got me on the conversation of the N-bomb word, right? Because some people were saying, I know in the past people say that that the N-bomb word, which I'm not going to say, but I'll acknowledge there is one. That word, the etymology of that word, someone's trying to make up some complicated etymology back to Africa, this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's just a Southern mispronunciation of negro. A lot of the Spanish slave traders who brought Africans over here would call them negros, right? As in black, okay? It's Spanish for black. And the N-bomb word is just Southerners with their Southern accents saying negro, okay? Kind of like, what is another word that's similar to that? It's spelled one way, and if you say it the correct way, it's this, but then some people slip it into a different word. Anyway, that's where the word came from. So, that's why I find it a really hard time to get worked up about the word itself anyway. But, Modelo is owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev everywhere besides for the U.S. Oh! So essentially purchasing Modelo instead of Bud Light is pointless. Okay. Wait a minute. Modelo is owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev everywhere besides for the U.S. Well, if it's not owned by AB InBev owns Grupo Modelo, the Mexican brewery founded by German immigrants. However, the Constellation brands purchased the complete control of the USA operation. Grupo Modelo products sold outside of the United States are an AB InBev product. So the Negro Modelo and the Modelo that you buy in the United States is not owned by Anheuser-Busch or the AB InBev, which is I think, is it Swedish company that bought them or maybe Netherlands or something like that. So anyway, if you're drinking Modelo in the United States, you're getting it from a non-Budweiser company. Interesting. So InBev owns Bud Light. Yes, also owns Modelo. Boycott costs them nothing. If we want to keep USA, we must go back to living off the land. All corporations are owned by the same harmful inbreds. Boycott do nothing but bring them to heel. It's going to take a sacrifice on our part. That's interesting. So anyway, so that's why Modelo is trending. So what the fuck was that? Okay, never mind. All right, moving on. Also happening in the world right now, Yeezy is trending. Now, if you're not familiar with Yeezy or Yeezys, that was Conway Twitty, Kanye West's partnership with Adidas, and he had these shoes called Yeezys, right? And I thought after the controversial conversations that Kanye West was having with various reporters and political figures, that Adidas had broken off its relationship with Kanye West. However, apparently Yeezys are making their final exit. They didn't do it immediately and put out another line of Yeezys, I guess, because I see a lot of people talking about them. All the Yeezys are dropping today. Here it is, May 31st, 2023. Release catalog and schedule may vary for some locations. They're going to apparently drop all the Yeezys that are their last making. I can't even speak about it. It's so hard. So anyway, this is going to be the last, at least, round of Adidas Yeezys. And I'm sure Kanye will get paid. And guess what? Sneakerheads, these might be a good investment, actually. It might be a good investment because they're not going to make them anymore. So I'm sure that this is going to be just a hellaciously large drop of Yeezys. Real quick, apparently I have some more notifications. Let me see here if there's something new that I missed. Thank you, Somnambule Nation, for tweeting out the show. Greatly appreciated. You know how much I appreciate that. All right, let's move on. Other things in the news that are happening. FBI Director Wray, the House Oversight Committee, there's a chance that the House Oversight Committee may be citing Christopher Wray for contempt. Now, I'm just going to go through, these are just a few tweets of the day, and I'll get some more news in a minute. This is Catherine Herridge of CBS News. James Comer, he's the chairman of one of the committees that's investigating the FBI from the House Oversight Committee. Quote, the FBI informed the committee that it will not provide the unclassified documents subpoenaed by the committee. The committee will now be taking steps to hold the FBI director in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with a lawful subpoena. Now, there's a challenge here. Here's a challenge. Isn't it the FBI? I don't know if it is. I'm not sure, because the FBI is really kind of part of the executive branch. Isn't it kind of futile to hold the FBI director in contempt when I think they have to use some the FBI to bring the people held in contempt of Congress in, or maybe the Justice Department deals with that? I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works at all. But anyway, here's the Oversight Committee, House Committee on Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer issued the following statement on the FBI's refusal to comply with the congressional subpoena for unclassified records alleging a criminal scheme involving then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national. So this is in relation to some of the Hunter Biden stuff and Joe Biden getting money from the Chinese and whatnot. Today, the FBI confirmed to the committee that it will not provide unclassified documents subpoenaed by the committee. The FBI's decision to stiff-arm Congress and hide this information from the American people is obstructionist and unacceptable. While I have a call scheduled with FBI Director Wray tomorrow to discuss his response further, the committee has been clear in its intent to protect congressional oversight authorities and will now be taking steps to hold the FBI director in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with a lawful subpoena. Americans deserve the truth, and the Oversight Committee will continue to demand transparency from the nation's chief law enforcement agency. So, this is going to get even more interesting. I know they're asking for unclassified documents that were subpoenaed by the committee. And the FBI is saying, nah, move along. Because, the FBI really is just, they're kind of, they seem to be very attached to certain political parties. For some reason. Emmanuel Presley, how you doing? I see you. And also Special Can Acid dropped in. Nice to see you. We dropped some acid in the chat. Nice to see you. Interesting. I'll get into more of that later because I have a story about that. Finally, in the just little tweet section, in Melbourne, Australia, researchers. Now, oh, by the way, let me just preface this for YouTube. I am not giving any kind of medical advice. In fact, I'm just reporting on what's being reported, and that's all. So, YouTube, this is not an endorsement. I just find it interesting. Now that the pandemic has been officially declared over, now we can talk about the stupid 19, maybe truthfully. I don't know. We'll find out. Here we go. Melbourne researchers have uncovered a simple remedy they say can help fight viruses that cause stupid 19 and the flu. Get this. Now, oh my God. Is this a quackery of a natural remedy? I don't know, but let's listen to the report. Listen.
Melbourne researchers have uncovered a simple remedy they say can help fight viruses that cause COVID-19 and the flu. They claim certain unique Australian-grown garlic varieties demonstrate antiviral activity of up to...
That's garlic, and for those of you who speak English... Now, garlic varieties
demonstrate antiviral activity of up to 99.9% efficacy.
Goodness.
The world first study was done by the Doherty Institute and Australian garlic producers.
Garlic. So, apparently there's a form of Australian garlic that has some mega antiviral properties. Data Wasteland, what's up? You know what, Data Wasteland? I'm opening Discord right now just to check your message because I feel bad that I have not received this message yet, and Okay, here, wait. Let's go. What am I doing here? Let's click that. Let's see real quick. Because I always forget how to get messages on Discord, first of all. News Center, P-Dog Night. Okay, there's got to be... I'm such a Discord midget that I don't always understand. Let's see, try this. Oh, here we go. I don't even know how you get your messages on Discord. I every once in a while I figure it out. General, no. I promise you, I will do this immediately after the show today. I cannot figure it out. I'm not very good at this. Wait a minute. If I click on me, there's me. Is this here? No. No. Oh! It's up. Well, it should be up there. It's not up there. Inverted garlic then. Yeah. It's interesting because a type of Australian grown garlic, some rare version of Australian grown garlic. There's News Center. No, where the fuck did the messages come from? I have no idea. Okay, click wherever there is a count of notifications. Yeah, that's just it. There are no count of notifications. That's a problem. I maybe I've already seen it. Oh, there's a News Center one. Here, hang on. Let me try there. But that was, oh my gosh, how's that so far down? Okay. All right, well, I'm going to figure it out later because I feel like I'm dork right now. All right, let's move on because as I'm getting the time here, let's get into a little bit about the House debt ceiling vote that's supposed to happen today, and maybe even the Senate's supposed to be voting today. Oh, are they live right now? First Republican supports ousting the speaker. Oh, hang on here. Let's go into the Hill right now. Let's see. They got something going here. Let me so from the Hill here, here's the headlines. Trump pledges to end birthright citizenship on first day of office. You know, here's what's interesting about that. We're one of the few countries that actually have birthright citizenship. Like if you are born here, just because if you're born in American soil, you're automatically an American citizen. And there is actually quite the industry of women who come to the United States so that their kids can be born here so that they are U.S. citizens. And it's just a weird thing because most countries don't do that. If you're a citizen of another country and you're born in some other country other than the United States, you're still born a citizen of the country that your parents are of. You don't automatically become a citizen of that country. If my daughter would have had our grandchild in Canada, our granddaughter would not be a Canadian citizen necessarily. Is that correct? Does that happen in Canada? I don't think it does. I know if she would have been born in France or Germany or England or whatever, still would have been an American citizen because both her parents are American citizens. But lots of women from countries all over the world will come here with a travel visa, with 7 months pregnant, fly to the United States, have a 3 or 4 month stay in the United States just so they can have their baby here, so their baby's born a U.S. citizen, and then they have special rights to be able to come here, right? No, that is not actually how it works. There's a second part that is not enforced. Your parents both have to be under the full jurisdiction of the U.S. federal government. Well, there is actually, but I know for a fact, because I know people who've done it, who they literally will go to the United States to have to become citizenship, to have their children be citizens. So anyway, that's one of the headlines. Let's keep going here. I'll turn the music off. Don't need it. First Republican publicly supports ousting McCarthy as Speaker, probably because of this debt ceiling deal. McConnell to face off with the Conservatives' opponents on debt ceiling bill. There are several. And black-led organizations are leading the charge to reform of prisons and the death penalty. Well, yeah. And then Christie expects to announce. Okay, I didn't need to show this this little section here. Let's go into the news here, though. Debt ceiling, there's a chorus of no votes that's growing, both on the right and the left. Hello, Jedi Ghost Bear. Anchor babies are real. Yes, they are. The debate over the debt ceiling deal moves to the full House on Wednesday, with Republican leadership aiming to ensure a package that Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden finalized over the weekend will pass. The bill required a simple majority in the House. The measure cleared a key procedural hurdle on Tuesday evening when it passed out of the Rules Committee on a 7-6 vote, with Republican rules requiring a 72-hour reading period for a bill. Voting will not begin in the House until Wednesday evening. Only a handful of days remain until the nation hits the X date on which it could default, June 5th. The latest, the number of House Republicans who say they will vote against the bill has passed 30. Progressive Democrats, including Representative Pramila Jayapal and Greg Kazar, say they will not support the debt limit deal. Presuming the bill passes the House on Wednesday night, it heads to the Senate, where Minority Leader Mitch McConnell may have a tall task ahead of him, finding 10 to 20 Republicans to join him in supporting the bill. So, supposedly they've been having updates on this morning. Let's go down. We'll start down here for the bottom, the oldest ones from this morning. At 9:15 this morning, Who's with McCarthy? As of Tuesday evening, more than 24 members of the slim 4-seat GOP majority said they will vote against the bill, meaning Speaker Kevin McCarthy will need to rely on Democratic members supporting the Biden-blessed deal to pass the bill. If more Democrats than Republicans vote for the bill, McCarthy could be in trouble. You think? I'm predicting it'll have more Democrat votes than Republican votes, Representative Bob Good of Virginia said Tuesday. Democrats are truly being told to suppress their enthusiasm to not talk about it publicly. That's right. But unfortunately, some of them can't shut their mouths. Jayapal is a no vote. Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal says she does not support the debt limit bill, not because it spends too much, probably because it doesn't spend enough. I will be a no, she told reporters Wednesday morning. This is not our deal. This is a right-wing centered right deal. And if we want to have credibility within the progressive wing of the party, then we need to be able to show that we are fighting for them. I'm surprised Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hasn't spoken up, but anyway, she's not happy about it. 9:36 a.m. this morning, Heritage Action, the advocacy arm of the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank, is taking an official position against the debt limit compromise bill. The group will send a key vote notice against the bill Wednesday. The Hill learned Tuesday members' votes will count on Heritage Action's legislative scorecard, a metric of conservatism that holds weight with many Republican members of Congress. Blah, blah, blah. There's a link to all these articles. Matt Gaetz of Florida warned Tuesday that passing a debt deal without a Republican majority in the House would trigger an immediate motion to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Oh boy, if a majority of Republicans are against a piece of legislation and you use Democrats to pass it, that would immediately be a black letter in violation of the deal we had with McCarthy to allow his ascent to the speakership, and it would likely trigger an immediate motion to vacate, Gaetz told Newsmax. So that would suck. Well, for McCarthy, not for the planet. Representative Ben Clyde of Virginia, Freedom Caucus member, said Wednesday morning that he will not vote for the debt limit deal. He described it as in a tweet as a capitulation to the liberal left. Quote, I came to Washington 4 years ago to drain the swamp, not to make it deeper. That's why I cannot, in good conscience, vote for a roughly $4 trillion debt increase deal, which can only be characterized as a capitulation to the liberal left. I will continue fighting for. I'm not going to read the rest. Who cares? Representative Greg Cesar of Texas says he will vote against the debt limit deal. This is a Democrat. Freshman congressman told MSNBC on Wednesday morning, it's a ransom deal. He joins Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal on his pledge to vote no. And then let's see here. Senate Democrats are also fretting over the debt ceiling bill. Presuming the debt ceiling will pass on the House on Wednesday, it heads next to the Senate, where Democrats are vocally unenthused. with the deal struck by the White House and House Republicans last week, but largely indicated they are still willing to support it in order to avert a catastrophic default that officials warn would occur Monday. Now, wouldn't it be crazy? Hello, Rick Ashberger, by the way. Wouldn't it be crazy if McCarthy got this passed on a slim majority in the House, right? And even maybe had a vote or two more than the Democrats, or if he got it passed through the Democrats in the House, right? And then it goes to the Senate, and a majority of the Senate Democrats voted against it. Now that would be I don't know if that'd be political suicide for them to do it. But there's a lot of Democrats that are like, well, this is too much cuts, and there's a lot of Republicans go, this isn't enough cuts. It's crazy. Hello, Robert Banks. If a Republican in Congress had any spine, they would just pass what they want in the House, cutting spending and making the Dems in the Senate vote it down. Then it's their fault and it's their default. Yes, that's double whammy there. I agree. You know what? Republicans are pussing out of this, and make him veto something, or make the Senate have to FAFO, right? But anyway, so that's interesting. And then finally, House Democrats huddled for final briefing. House Democrats huddled Wednesday morning in the basement of the Capitol for a long final briefing and a pajama party with top White House officials. The list included leading negotiators Shalonda Young and Steve Ricchetti or something, as well as John Podesta. Oh my God, I wonder if they ordered pizza. And the former chief of staff under Bill Clinton, who briefed lawmakers on the energy portions of the bill. Representative Anna Eshoo, Democrat of California, a senior member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, hailed the outreach by familiar faces, predicting that a majority of Democrats will support the package. Okay. Fucking great. Okay, so there you go. There's the latest on the debt ceiling. More things. Thomas Massey's trending probably because he signaled that he would vote yes. Okay, that's surprising. And Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she would vote yes. What? Now this person says, I'm done with these two if they vote yes. What the WTAF? What the actual fuck happened to them? What does one get for selling out to the swamp? Hope the IRS audits these two first. So here's this is Joey Manarino, easy for me to say, who says Republican members of Congress who are no on the debt ceiling: Biggs, Bishop, Boebert, Brichin, Buchanan, Buck, Burchett, Burleson. That's a lot of B's for one section of Congress. Kamek, Cloud, Clyde, Collins, Crane, Donalds, Fry, Getz, Good, Hageman, Harshberger, Higgins, Hunt, Luna, Mace, Mary Miller, and Mills. Now that's interesting. Is there one past Mills here? Let's see. No. Mills, Nels, Norman, Ogles, Perry, Posey, Rosendale, Roy, Chip Roy, Self, Sparts, Timmons, and Waltz. So those are the Republicans that are adamant that this deal sucks. The fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, and Thomas Massey are voting for this debt ceiling bill doesn't change my mind about the bill. There's no way to spin this bill positively. It just makes me question what Kevin McCarthy or someone above him has on these members. There's an article in Washington Examiner about Massey and Chip Roy. Let's see, all eyes on swing vote Massey as House panel takes up debt ceiling bill. So if you want to read more about that, do so at your leisure. Here's Byron Donalds talking about it, though, on I think this is from Memorial Day, but it's he's one of these no people.
Washington is doing it again. While you were celebrating Memorial Day, all of our men and women who gave their lives for this great nation, and you were spending time with your family and your friends, this town was cutting another crap deal that's going to put you more in debt with no real changes whatsoever. So the American people need to understand full and well, do not listen to the talking points. Do not listen to the cool phrases that are being thrown out in commercials on CNN or Fox or MSNBC, because Washington is lying again. Washington is doing it again.
So there you go. Byron Donalds, one of my favorite new congressmen out of the state of Florida. Whoops, I don't want the outro. Don't do that. It's okay. The show's not over yet. So interesting. There is still a coalition of people who are against it, and then this is an editorial cartoon from Liberty Nation, which is kind of the debt ceiling crashing down on future generations. So interesting stuff. It's not the most exciting stuff that we'll ever talk about here because it's the nuts and bolts, but it's the stuff that affects us so much more than anybody knows. It's just crazy that they continue to do this, and I don't know, man. Eventually, they're going to start giving you credit increases on your credit card because you're not going to be able to pay it anyway. So who knows how they plan to get through this. Let's move on to a couple final things, just articles that are in the links, and we'll touch base on these. We've got, let's see, start with this one. Biden family is under the protection of the nation's top lawmen. Now, this is kind of relating back to Christopher Wray and why they're trying to subpoena some unclassified information from the FBI, and the FBI is refusing. Here's a novel concept. The FBI is not above the law. Remember they say no one is above the law? Well, the FBI kind of is. Here's the concept. The FBI is not above the law. In theory, of course, it's true as in no American is above the law. But is it really true in the sense that its leaders can be brought to justice if they break the law? Well, that'll be something special, wouldn't it? Hello, now what? What's up? My friend Wu from high school. What's up? And still my friend today because we live in the same general metro area, and we're very good friends. Ever hear of Jim Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok? There was J. Edgar Hoover they were J. Edgar Hoover without the charm. Really? J. Edgar Hoover had charm? I don't know about that. They spied on a presidential campaign without sufficient evidence, lied to the courts, and never paid the price. And they probably never will. In fact, each got a lot richer thanks to the big shots who monetized the hate Donald Trump fan clubs in cable TV and publishing houses perpetuate. The unmistakable lesson is that crime, or something very much like crime, paid handsomely in their cases. Now, if they weren't above the law, they were certainly beyond reach. So we must believe that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was speaking, hopefully, not literally, when he told Fox News Tuesday morning that unless FBI Director Christopher Wray turns over a document alleging Joe Biden sold his office as a part of a $5 million bribery scheme when he was vice president, Congress will move to hold Wray in contempt. Good morning, Jay Pylon. What's up? Also, so, quote, I personally called Director Wray and told him he needs to send that document, McCarthy said. We have jurisdiction over this, and if he does not follow through with the law, we will move to contempt charges against Christopher Wray and the FBI. They are not above the law. Sorry, excuse me. To which Wray effectively replied, go ahead, make my day, with the FBI later refusing to give up the document. Now Republicans can pass their contempt citation, but it's up to the Justice Department to turn contempt into a prosecution. Oh, good luck. Good luck. And anybody who thinks Attorney General Merrick Garland is going to prosecute Wray for his shielding the Biden family has not been paying attention. Garland is the ringleader in the Protect Biden fan club. Okay, he didn't say fan club, he said club, but whatever. If Wray is held in contempt, Biden will probably give him a merit raise or a pardon. The document demand grows out of a whistleblower's testimony before the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, where GOP Chairman James Comer has been banging the drum loudly about Biden's decades-long grift. He used subpoena power to get bank records showing as many as 9 members of the Biden gang got a cut of the big Chinese deal, and recently revealed a complex web of bank accounts that first son Hunter Biden set up to receive and disperse huge sums from foreign paymasters. As Comers and others have noted, no legitimate business moves money around that way through shell company accounts. And what, they asked, was the actual product of the Bidens were selling? Well, in response to Comer's demands and McCarthy's threat, the FBI initially issued a boilerplate statement that sounded as if Wray might play ball. Quote, "The FBI remains committed in cooperating with Congress oversight requests on this matter and others, as we always have, and we continue to be in touch with members of Congress regarding this request." That was a head fake, and for late Tuesday, Comer said the answer he got was a hard no, adding that the FBI's decision to stiff-arm Congress and hide this information from the American people is obstructionist and unacceptable. Remember how obstruction of justice was such a big deal? When the guy with the funny hair was in office, they said he was obstructing justice. And how do you obstruct justice if there's no case against you? But anyway, he added that although he and Wray would talk Wednesday, the panel will now be taking steps to hold the FBI director in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with a lawful subpoena. Perhaps, but Comer has to know he can't count on any Democratic votes. This will require Republican focus and unity and thick skins to put up with the media abuse as it, too, protects the Bidens. Oh, I hadn't noticed, right? The conflict comes at an important moment in many House investigations. And then they just go on to tell you other whistleblowers have done, said stuff, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff they could be doing. But, the idea that this contempt call or, citation for Christopher Wray actually gets prosecuted by Merrick Garland. Good luck. Good luck. Now, moving on. I got a couple more and I'm going to get through them real quick. Apparently, you know how a lot of these January 6th defendants, a lot of them have fundraising efforts to try and, pay for some of their legal businesses and things like that. Well, here's a new twist on that. The U.S. government is now confiscating private legal fund donations to January 6 defendants. Oh, my, oh, my. From the Associated Press, less than 2 months after he pleaded guilty to storming the U.S. Capitol, Texas resident Daniel Goodwin appeared on Tucker Carlson's then Fox News show and promoted a website where supporters could donate money to Goodwin and other rioters, whom the site called political prisoners. The Justice Department now wants Goodwin to give up more than $25,000 he raised, a clawback that is part of a growing effort by the government to prevent rioters from being able to personally profit from participating in the attack that shook the foundation of American democracy. An Associated Press review of court records showed that prosecutors in the more than 1,000 criminal cases from January 6, 2021, are increasingly asking judges to impose fines on top of prison sentences to offset donations from supporters of the Capitol rioters. So these people are getting donations, right? They're confiscating whatever's left by fining them, right? Instead of, these poor people are going to have their families messed up and stuff for some bullshit, by the way. The U.S. legal system is now transparently weaponized against what the DHS has alternatively described as domestic terrorists and white supremacists. Yeah, they're all terrorists and white supremacists, by the way. According to the department, the number one terror threat in the country, Marcus Malley, a Virginia man scheduled to be sentenced next month for assaulting police at the Capitol, raised more than $16,000 from an online campaign that described him as a January 6th prisoner of war and asked for money for his family. Prosecutors have requested a $16,000 plus fine, noted that Malley had a public defender and did not owe any legal fees. Well, and they saying he should not be able to use his own notoriety gained in the commission of crimes to, quote, capitalize, end quote, on his participation in the Capitol breach in this way, a prosecutor wrote in court papers. Now, how in any way is it within a prosecutor's purview, whose job is to prosecute particularly defined crimes based on legitimate suspicion of guilt, to wade into the private financial donations collected by private citizens, which are fully legal? If there is a plaintiff who donated to one of these defendants who claims he or she was misled about the use of money, that would be a different story. But that is not what is going on here. I hesitate to turn this into a whole Trump bashing thing because, frankly, he gets enough criticism in conservative media at the moment, which is fair enough. But where the hell has he been all these years on the January 6th prisoner thing? So yeah, that's a good question. And he goes on about something else. Anyway, that's such bullshit. What did you say? Avocados? Wait a minute. It goes goes against what amendments? Interferes with their ability to defend themselves, and is overly punitive penalty. So the 5th and 8th. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Although remember, we're talking about the United States Justice Department and these courts that are heavily in favor, or excuse me, heavily against the January 6th defendants. Let's see, last couple here. Apparently, so remember Target now is kind of the target of the boycotts, kind of like the Bud Light people are, right? Because they were putting all these Pride children's clothing lines out and Pride trans lines closing out and whatever. And so there was a little bit of backlash, conservative backlash. So Target took the children's clothing line of Pride Month, which is going to be Pride Year every year next year, because every month's it's going to be Pride season in some countries. And they've moved it out of the front, right? So, that's kind of a little, because people are like, why? Why are we having children wear Pride shit? That's like, we don't need to know about kids' sexualities, okay? Well, apparently some of these Target stores have been getting terroristic threats known as bombs, right? But it's not the people who were complaining about the Pride stuff. It's the people who wanted them to put the Pride stuff back in. LGBTQ radicals send Target bomb threats after Pride Month merchandise pullback. LGBTQ radicals reportedly deluged Target with bomb threats in retaliation to the retail giant pulling back on some of its Pride Month merchandise after significant backlash. The bomb threats were allegedly made against several Target stores in at least 3 states, Utah, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. An email to one Cleveland store that Cleveland 19 News reviewed indicated that radical LGBTQ activists may have been behind the threats. Target is full of cowards who turned their back on the LGBT community and decided to cater to the homophobic right-wing redneck bigots who protested and vandalized their store. The email reportedly read, in Utah, Salt Lake City Police Communications Director Brett Weisberg told USA Today that officers determined that no credible threat had been directed at the 2 stores in the city. Officers will continue to neighborhood patrols around the Target locations in Salt Lake City out of an abundance of caution. We encourage anyone who sees anything suspicious to immediately call 911. So here's the deal. This is kind of like Bud Light. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. As soon as Bud Light started pulling them back on some stuff, the LGBTQ people were complaining, you guys are not, stop catering to the people who you sell beer to. Well, a little bit of and it's not the LGB that people are getting tired of. But that T and the Q, the ones that has nothing to do with who you sleep with and just making up some shit. Those people don't want to hear from anymore. So I feel almost bad for the LGB people who generally just want to live their lives. Okay, now the pride parades and stuff get out of hand and shit. I don't know about that. I don't know why you have kids in the pride parade, because some of the pride parades can be kind of gross. They can be kind of fun, but they can be kind of gross, and they're not for kids. They're definitely not for kids. But they just need to stop. They just need to stop. Stop it. Okay, real quick. Now, I'm supposed to be done, but I'm not done because Gunfox61 is in the house and dropped a 10 spot in the tip jar, which makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Gunfox61. LGBT Baba News. Let's see. This is from Newsbreak. Just last breaking news. Uh-oh. Oh, good God. What? All right, we'll do it. I'm gonna extend my extension here. That really didn't sound right. Okay, so apparently a San Francisco newspaper says arguments against biological males in female sports have little basis in science. I know why you sent this to me, Gunfox. I know why you sent this to me. Science far from clear on whether trans athletes are faster or stronger than women in female sports, paper says. Okay, the San Francisco Chronicle reported there was little scientific evidence to back up the argument that women are at a disadvantage when playing against transgender athletes in sports competitions. The Northern California paper published at least 2 stories in the past week defending transgender athletes in female sports after widespread hate campaigns, quote unquote, had led 2 trans high school athletes to drop out of a statewide track and field competition. Quote, attacks on trans athletes have little basis in science, the Chronicle claimed in a piece published Friday in the science section. The science is far from clear as to whether trans athletes are actually faster, stronger than their cisgender peers. Experts say the evidence is especially murky for teen athletes who may be going through puberty or taking drugs to suppress hormones, actions that could improve their performance or hinder it, or have very little impact at all. The report said a lack of available research studying the differences between trans athletes and their peers made it challenging to understand what advantages trans athletes could have. No, it doesn't make it unclear what advantages they could have, because you can look at the results of males versus females throughout the history of all sports in the Olympics. Okay, you can do that. And so what the advantages could be are the same differences that they could be between any male and female, which are significant enough that you have to have separate categories for males and females, because females wouldn't be in the top 1,000 or 10,000 places in some sports if it was against male athletes. That's stupid. That's stupid to even say. It's stupid to even say that that because there's an average size difference between male and females, period. Okay, no pun intended there. That clearly you have a median, maybe the median. I don't remember which one. You would have the natural advantages of the difference between male and female. Okay, now, do hormones suppress some of those advantages? Well, yeah, maybe, but, and I don't mean hormone replacement, because you're not replacing hormones, you're putting different hormones in your body when you transition. But the idea of athletics is not to lower your performance so that you can fit in an easier category. You try to enhance your performance to its maximum. And that would kind of defeat the purpose of sport if you are taking these males who are suppressing their peak performance to fit in with the females. It doesn't make sense. It'd be like, when you play golf, okay, you go to a golf tournament, right? And you play versus handicaps, right? And there are people out there who put in scorecards that would make their handicap higher so that they have a better chance of winning a flight in a golf tournament. It'd be like a fifth grade basketball team. Okay, they want to win more tournaments, so they all lie and say they're a year younger and play in a 4th grade tournament. And so they have a clear advantage in the 4th grade tournament, even though there are probably some 4th grade teams who would still kick their ass. That's what it is about. It's like you're trying to lower your performance to fit into a different category to be whatever. The idea that there's little research is because, yeah, there's little research. So let's say this. If there's little research on it, do you err on the side of fairness of what you know, or do you err on the side of what you don't know? Clearly, there's a difference between male and female athletes. So you have to err on the side of what you know. There is a difference between male and female athletes. Just because a mediocre male isn't as fast as the top females in the world doesn't mean you put them in that category, because the potential pool of males, of all males, is already going to perform higher than the average pool of females. Okay? This is a dumb argument. Oh, well, there's not enough research, this and that. Well, until you do the research, you err on the side of fairness, which is you separate males and females in athletics. Thank you, Gun Fox, for getting me off of this topic. Oh, well done, sir. I'm not reading the rest of this shit. FTG to all of them, and especially this dickhead right here. All right, moving on. And let me finish up here. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. Dropping another big bullet in the tip jar, which makes you, again, the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Jimmy Das Hotep has gone back into the lead with another big bullet, who says, speaking of Target and June, tomorrow starts Strong Dad Month for Hotep Nation, celebrating all of the dads out there. Hell yes, Dad's Month. It's Dad's Month. It's White History Month, and it's Pride Month, but I'm celebrating Dad Month because, you know, we got to have a Dad Month. Right on. All right, so go check out Hotep Nation for details, which is hotepnation.com. All right, the others I'm not getting to are this one. Oh, we already did that one. We're going to close Ace because I don't want that in the links. And what was missing? Oh, 2 pro-life advocates were beaten outside of a Planned Parenthood in Baltimore. Now, remember how sorry about the picture. Oh, you didn't see the picture. You don't want to see the picture. You'll have to see it yourself. But that's the only one that I had because, you know, they're so worried about the violent extremists on the right. That's the, you know, the biggest threat to humanity. But these, a couple of pro-life supporters outside Planned Parenthood, a bunch of guys went and beat the crap out of them. You can check that article out yourself because I got to go. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm sorry for the abrupt ending, but I went over time by quite a bit, and you know how that goes. Why is there an outro playing? Oh, that's an intro. That's a pause thing. So I'm here Monday through Friday around 10 o'clock Eastern. You know how that works. And I thank you for being here. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't done so far on both Rumble and on YouTube. Thank you for those people who sponsored the show today. Let's see. Oh, that was yesterday, Brown Note fan. I don't know about that. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, Gunfox61, and the superstar sponsor of the day, Jimmy Das Hotep. So thank you very much, folks. I hope you have a wonderful day. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.